Destiny 2 Forsaken is arguably one of, if not the best expansion in Destiny 2 to date. Now, is it the best expansion in the whole franchise? We debated that on a podcast, and I think you can have that discussion still to this day. Most people will probably say Taken King, and for good reason. The Taken King was literally the expansion that saved the franchise. Although, I am very partial to Rise of Iron, but, you know, that's a debate for another time, and I really don't want to get into it in this video. So, I decided to go back and play through Forsaken. But not just play through Forsaken, because obviously with sunsetting, a lot has changed. I decided to go back on a fresh character and play with a very casual mindset. And that's very different than the way I'm playing Destiny now. Now, I'm not a hardcore player by any means. Literally. My clanmate Zeph, who co-hosts a podcast with me, is a hardcore player. Very much so. This man will grind to get every pinnacle he can to make sure he can do a Grandmaster Nightfall. Me, if I get there, I get there. Honestly. The days of me playing Destiny pseudo-hardcore have long since passed, and that's mainly for two reasons. One, I work, and I have a full-time job that I'm working because I need to save for a wedding, because here's a little secret, I'm getting married next year. And two, I do this now. I'm not in college anymore. When I was in college, when Destiny was kind of in its prime, I had a lot more free time, even during my first job. I played Destiny about every week. We raided once, if not more than once a week, and it was really nice. Destiny 2 has kind of evolved, and it's in this state for me personally where now I'm at the point where I log on once a week to catch up on all the story stuff, which, by the way, Season of the Chosen is chef's kiss when it comes to narrative. That's kind of it. I log on the weekends to do my weekly triumphs, which I have a love-hate relationship with them. Not a hate, but a love-dislike relationship, which is probably due for its own video. And then maybe on the weekends, I go and like this weekend we're raiding. We're going to be doing The Last Wish. We're going to be taking some players through it for the first time. And funnily enough, I have this fresh character, fresh out of Forsaken. And all I can do right now is kind of the raid. But we'll get into that. So in this video, I want to ask the question and answer the question for a new player. Is Destiny 2 Forsaken worth buying? So like I mentioned, a few months back, I decided to create a self-imposed leveling challenge. I made a fresh character on my account and took on the undertaking of playing through all the current expansions in order in preparation for Witch Queen, which is now delayed. I was under the clock to get it done by the fall, probably like September or October, maybe even November like Beyond Light, but since then, Bungie has released a state of the game and they have stated that they are going to push Witch Queen back until early 2022. When all is said and done with this leveling challenge, I'll have a video going over my thoughts about any trials and tribulations I faced and what I enjoyed and what I didn't enjoy about the whole process. But I wanted to talk about Forsaken, having now beat the campaign, because I was hit with a massive realization upon entering the Dreaming City that I don't think a lot of people, especially new players, are prepared for, and that's that there's not much to do anymore. Let me elaborate. Before we get into today's video, I just wanted to remind you that I do stream on Twitch every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk about Destiny quite a lot over there, and we're currently marathoning through the Ratchet & Clank franchise, so the link for that will be in the description box down below. It's been 2 years since Forsaken's launch, and in that time, Destiny has adopted a seasonal content model, sunset a bunch of its content and destinations, and has kind of gone through this very big overhaul. So I knew going into this there weren't going to be things I could do, such as Menagerie, Forges, Reckoning, certain quests like the Ace of Spades. However, what I was not prepared for was how barren Forsaken is post-campaign. I went through the campaign, and it's pretty easy and quick. You go in, kill the Barons, then you face Uldren and this big spooky meatball thing. Now, there are new like quests you can do as a new character, but I'll kind of go over that whole new light process for my discussion video at a later date. But once you finish the campaign, you go to the Dreaming City, and that's about it. There's the new light quest for the Dreaming City if you haven't done it yet, but otherwise, there's no quests for you to do. Now, you can do your bounties and work towards the Cursebreaker seal, which is what I'm currently doing. Blind Well is still a thing, and it can be pretty populated depending on the instance you get. Sometimes you have to wait around, but what I've noticed at this point in the game, you can kind of get 3 Guardians in there and do a tier 3 Blind Well without too much trouble. The Last Wish Raid and the Shattered Throne Dungeon are the 2 pinnacle activities that are also available from Forsaken. Now, there's other things you can do like Grandmaster Nightfalls, Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, but I want to focus on strictly the Forsaken content. The game doesn't push you into the direction of any of that stuff. As soon as you land in the Dreaming City, if you've done the New Light quest, which most people may have, some people didn't, knowing there was one there, I waited to do it until I unlocked the Dreaming City, but I can guarantee most new players, especially if they're being guided by friends, may have already done it. So once you land in there after the campaign, there's no direction. There's no one telling you to go talk to Petra. Petra's not saying, Guardian, come here, I have things for you to do. So you walk up to Petra and there's her bounties. And that's kind of it. In fact, as far as I know, there's only 3 Forsaken exotic quests that you can still do, 2 of which you wouldn't know existed because you still have to pick them up in the kiosk next to the postmaster. And besides picking up the starting quest for Forsaken, you're never directed to go there. The kiosk itself is another gripe I have, but that I'm going to save for my later video because it plays into this whole new light experience. The 3rd exotic quest is the Malfeasance quest, which you can get as a random drop from beating a specific boss in Gambit. So that's kind of still being acquired in the way it was intended. But that's really it. I knew going in there that there wasn't going to be much stuff to do because of sunsetting. I just wish Bungie had given new players a better sense of direction. Like I mentioned earlier, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do things like Ace of Spades or Menagerie or stuff like that because all those destinations are gone. If you look at this from a new player's point of view, like I am, besides new light quests, there's no direction on what to do if you're not playing Beyond Light. And maybe Shadowkeep, but I haven't started Shadowkeep yet. But if you bought Forsaken, if someone told you, hey, come play Destiny, and you're like, well, I don't know where to start, and they're like, you know what, why don't you start in Forsaken? That's a pretty good time. If a new player picks that up and starts, they're kind of dumped into the world without much of a guide. Of course, the internet exists and people can look up stuff to do, but personally, I feel like that should be in the game. Something small, like a one-step quest to go into the raid or something like that. Like Destiny 1 had. I remember back in the day, it used to be like, hey, go do the raid. Even games like World of Warcraft do things like that sometimes. I remember in Battle for Azeroth last year, as soon as I finished the campaign, the game was like, hey, go do the N'Zoth raid. I didn't get a chance to do it, but, you know, something like that. It makes it hard for me to recommend buying Forsaken nowadays. I enjoyed it because I got to go back through it because I already experienced all that content. I plan on attempting to get Cursebreaker and Wishender, yes, because I still don't have it, but when you look at it through a casual new player's perspective, they may not want to go after that triumph because that seal is kind of tedious. You have to do every week of Ascendant challenges so you can get the emblem to finish the badge. Then you have to get all 40 Ahamkara eggs and all of the lore bones, which don't even give you lore anymore. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm going through Last Wish, and I'd love to get a full set of raid armor and a full set of Dreaming City armor, but at this point, I'm almost inclined just to push into Shadowkeep. So no, I don't think Forsaken's worth buying at this time. If a lot more of the stuff was still there, if there was more direction, there was a more like, hey Guardian, come here, do these things for Petra. And then like, that's like, okay, here's the Wishender quest. It's a shame because Forsaken, when it launched, had some of the best lore. Forsaken had some of the best content and the best story. And now you breeze through the story missions and that's it. A player could literally drop into the Dreaming City, be like, oh, there's nothing like, oh, I could talk to Petra. What's Blind Well? what's all this stuff? I don't really want to do this. Oh, there's more campaign stuff for me to do on the moon because I also bought Shadowkeep. And then they can just go and do Shadowkeep. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Have you gone back to revisit any of this old content? Or are you looking to get into Destiny for the first time and don't know where to start? I hope you enjoyed today's video and I hope it helped you. And if you did, feel free to hit the like button. Click the subscribe button for more videos like this, and ding the notification bell to know when the next video goes up. I hope you have a great day, and until next time, always remember to keep gaming.